Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Boyhood, starring Patricia Arquette, Ella Coltrane, Lorelai Linklater, and Ethan Hawke, directed by Richard Linklater. Now, before I get into this movie, I got a couple things to bring up. One, I brought up Richard Linklater with the Philip K. Dick series in A Scanner Darkly, and I'm a fan of his Waking Life, but this movie, I remember this leads to the second part. I remember going to theaters for this movie in an independent movie theater, let's say. And let me just say, at the time, I was very impressed with the movie as it was brilliant. Let's see if that still remains true. Let's get into the movie. We open with a beautiful shot with Mason, played by Ella Coltrane, looking up at the sky while waiting for his mother, Olivia, played by Patricia Arquette, and he hangs out with his friend until his sister, Samantha, played by the director's daughter, Lorelai Linklater, tells Mason to come home for dinner, and after dinner, Olivia's boyfriend, Tim, comes to their place, and Tim argues with Olivia about what it's like to be a parent, as he doesn't get it at all. And we move on to the next day. Samantha wakes up both Mason and Olivia, and this is reminding me of when I was growing up with my sister. Not that I'm going to get into that, which did make me look back at when I was like age 6 or something, which was, but at best. And the shots are beautiful to look at, as this movie is professionally made. 12 years being this movie was filming. 12 years. I can't believe it myself either. Olivia tells Mason and Samantha they have to move to Houston, and Samantha is being mean about it. And to be totally honest, I don't like Samantha at first because of how she acts about the move and how she acts in general. But she'll grow on me a little later in the film. They get to Houston, which is in Texas, and the next scene they finish school for the day and spend time with Grandma and the father, who's played by Ethan Hawke, as I'm going to call him that throughout the show, because he doesn't have a name for this whole movie, as he takes them bowling and tells them about how to vote, which I won't dare bring up, as he curses in front of the kids. And believe it or not, so does Olivia. As they get home, they show Ethan their bedrooms and their things as their mother's place, and they have an argument, which is like divorced couples in general, I'll say. Mason meets a college professor named Bill Wilbrock, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and eventually meet Mindy and Randy, who's Bill's kids. And Bill doesn't come off as a good father to not only her kids, but his own kids, and that felt like a problem with the movie and life in general, in my opinion. Mason, Samantha, Randy, and Mindy go to a midnight premiere of the book sales of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And I did like that scene, but the next scene with the golf court makes me think Bill is a complete asshole, as he hides his liquor and exposes his alcoholic attitude towards Mason, Samantha, Randy, and Mindy, and Olivia, as Olivia has to take his bullshit first half hour of the movie. And Ethan comes by and picks up Mason and Samantha and wants to have a conversation with each other, and agreed to tell what their lives are like as they go to the zoo to check out the animals, play a little hide and seek and a game of catch, play that game of catch, let's say, and taking them to Astral's baseball game and spend the entire weekend with him. Now, that's a better father than Bill, in my opinion, as it's getting to the point where I like Samantha as a character, and I already like Mason, as he's relatable. Olivia, being played by Patricia Arquette, is a tremendous performance and has bad man problems, and Ethan Hawke's character is a great father, as he does fun things with his kids, unlike Bill, who's a real asshole for the time we see him on screen. Mason, Randy, and a friend look at porn on the computer, and Bill takes Mason and Randy to get a haircut, as Bill humiliated him with his short haircut, as Mason thinks he looks like a cancer patient. And it is upset he has to go to school with the short haircut, as a girl thinks his haircut is cool. With the other kids, while the other kids think he looks stupid, and the scene was was well acted, and the editing is good here, in my opinion. I mean, it is a little long, but Bill shows his true side as Olivia is punched to the ground and shows his alcoholic talking, as Mason knows he's an asshole, and the others witness how much of a drunk he is. Bill wants to find out where Olivia is at and gets money for him and almost gets into an accident, as the next scene, Olivia, Mason, and Samantha leave Bill, Randy, and Mindy to stay with Olivia's friend, which was tremendously acted by these actors, and the shot was are very good in this movie. Mason goes to a junior high school and meets Kenny as he puts a sign to vote for Obama as the next president of the United States, requested by Ethan, as he steals a McCain sign from a yard, as somebody is going to be pissed as Texas is filled with Republicans, and they eat up at a bowling alley and make an awkward conversation until a friend of his, as it's a woman, comes up and says hello to him, which was kind of a funny scene when it wasn't meant to be, but I laughed. Mason and Ethan go camping on the lake as they talk about women and gives him very good advice about women. And I really like the lake scene as it was shot amazingly, and it's amazing how it took 12 years for this movie to be made. And we get a scene in high school where, with some punk asses, let's say, picking on Mason, and a girl talks with Mason as some girl named Chase has a crush on Mason, and their piece of dialogue works as the script was magnificently written. Mason goes camping with his friends, whose brother is a senior in high school, and the dialogue in this scene was funny, but at the same time inappropriate, but this is an R-rated movie, which makes sense. The Thanksgiving dinner that Olivia brought up in her class comes, and Mason chats with one of her students, saying she's the best teacher she's ever had. And the scene at the Thanksgiving dinner was a nicely set scene, as the movie is turning great to brilliant, in my opinion, at least. Mason comes home from a friend's car, as he's been smoking, and it's his birthday, as he gets home at 12:15 a.m., and he goes with his father and Samantha, I'll say, as they have a long drive while Olivia is dating the guy from her class, whom I can't remember the name of off the top of my head. Mason is upset about Ethan selling his classic car to a sucker in California, playing 22 grand, as he gives a CD of the Beatles for his birthday before they broke up and mixed in one CD, and they get to a ranch and celebrate Mason's birthday, and the man who owns a gun gives him a 12-gauge gun, as both he and Samantha aim guns at a shooting range on the outside, and that scene was very well filmed. And director Richard Linklater does a fantastic job making these actors aging, with the filming of the time being once every single year. Ethan, Mason, Samantha, and Ethan's wife, Annie, let's call her, get their baby boy baptized, and they go to a lake as Mason takes pictures and misses classes at school to get some photos, turning unique, as photography is a unique profession, and his professor asks him to take photos of the football game at the high school, which is a good scene for the conversation. While at home, Samantha is being spoiled about having fun as family has dinner together, and next scene, Mason takes pictures of the football game and goes to a party with his high school classmates as they do underage drinking, which I never did when I was in high school, by the way, folks. Just to tell you a little side story about me. While he talks with a girl, while he never talks with anyone until then he gets more comfortable, and he comes home, and his mother's husband, Jim, oh, that's what his name is, that's right, is up his ass about being home so late at night. That was the student that she had at one point, while he works with the sheriff's department, and he comes off like a dick, I'll say. The next morning, Olivia is thinking of putting the house on the market, as he goes to work and washes dishes as his profession, and his boss gives him a the fry cook job for the summer, which is an interesting choice for a job. Mason FaceTimes Ethan on his iPhone and goes to Samantha's dorm room with he and his girlfriend, and their chemistry works fine while on the way to Samantha's place in Austin, Texas. They meet Samantha and her boyfriend at a bar as they talk about living on their own, and we get a country club where the singers sing country music, which I'm fine with, by the way, but some people aren't too crazy into it, but I'm alright with it. And the scene is fine. Mason and his girlfriend go to a diner at 3 o'clock in the morning and walk around Austin, and the shots in those scenes are gorgeous. Like, I would like to visit Austin, Texas one day. Samantha's roommate comes in the dorm room and they have an awkward conversation, which was pretty damn awkward, I will admit. And in the next scene, Mason wins the silver medal at the picture awards, and his girlfriend Sheena break up off screen, and they talk and have a pretty rough conversation about prom as he's coming off like a dick. And Mason is becoming a little unrelatable as he graduates high school, and the family and friends get together to celebrate the next chapter in his life and going to college, and the scene works with family very well. They go to our friend's band to watch, or by they, I'm talking about Mason and Ethan go to our friend's band to watch him play a guitar, and they talk about the pain of Sheena as Ethan gives Mason such good advice about how to hang on in life, which is life in general. They go to a restaurant where they see the gardener from one of the houses years ago, and earlier in the film, and by they I'm talking about Olivia, Samantha, and Mason, which was a nice convenient scene that paid off very fucking well. Mason packs up for college, and Olivia cries about how much she's going to miss him, and she's afraid to go through her funeral. And that was a very sad scene with great acting by Patricia Arquette, because anybody could go through that. Mason goes off to college in his Toyota and brings his camera with him and gets to his dorm room and meets his roommate Holden and his girlfriend Barb and her roommate Nicole as they go to the canyon, and Mason learns more about Nicole, and they get to know each other and become better friends, and the climax is breathtaking and well done. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 9.2 out of 10. It's amazing that fact this movie took 12 years to make of director Richard Linklater and the cast and crew's life to make this movie at least once a year for 12 years, as it's a brilliant piece of work. The actors do a great job at making us relate to their characters, as the performances are tremendous, including Patricia Arquette. The movie is long, sure, but the shots are what hold the movie together, in my opinion, and it talks about childhood life very well as the way it's supposed to be told. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for this show, and until then, it's time to grow up.